Hello and welcome to today's shorter video. This isn't so much a review as just showing a pen that I'm using at the moment, and it is this pen. This is the Pilot Justus, the vintage version, the older version of what is now the Pilot Justus 95. And it's got that same adjustable nib, which I'll get to in just a few minutes. Basically, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give a quick rundown of the pen, and then I'm going to do a writing sample and show this nib in action, and then give 3 reasons why I'm really enjoying this pen. Simple. Okay, top of the pen, rounded end of the cap, little clip ring with a gold colored metal clip. The cap is cylindrical and a couple of gold bands there. And on the plastic end of that, it says Pilot. That's all it says. Very simple. That then continues down onto the barrel, which continues around. Little gold ring there, and then a little black domed end. The entire body of the cap and barrel is ribbed with these facets, or fluted facets, which I like a lot. And it gives the pen a really nice vintage kind of feel. Snap cap, Pilot cartridge converter. I have a refilled black cartridge here. Nice threads all there. And then we get this section which has some threads. I don't know if well, not threads, but little grooves on it. I'm not sure if the camera will pick those up. And then this really interesting nib. And what makes this nib interesting is the fact that it is an adjustable nib. So to adjust this nib, you'll see there's a little gold colored plate there on the face of the nib. Now this is a 14 karat gold nib. And all you do is you turn that end of the section there, and you see that the plate now is further down the nib. And so the further down the nib, the stiffer the nib is going to be. So all the way back here is where it is at its softest. It allows the tines to flex and spread. And then down here, it's nice and stiff. Not something you're going to do letter by letter or word by word as you write, but I think most users of these pens, both the modern version and the old version here, you know, sort of you find a placement that works for you and what you enjoy. The nib actually says there Pilot Fine, and 14K on the nib as well. So I'm going to do a writing sample with it, and then I'm going to show these different nib grades, if you will, in action. So we have the Pilot Justus. And this is on the soft, or on the firm setting, sorry, with the plate further down the nib there. And it's a nice, smooth, fairly kind of wet nib. It's very nice. But it is firm. And so if I just do little lines here, no pressure, and then if I get up some pressure, you see it does sort of get you a little bit of basic line variation. But now, if I open this up, we'll put this back more to the point so that it's at that end there, where it's now at its softer point. If I start with no pressure, and that's still very little pressure, but we're able to get a nice amount of line variation there on its softer setting. It's railroad. It's not designed as a flex pen necessarily, just as a softer. But yes, this is the soft version of it here. This is a lovely pen to write with. The ink I have in this, by the way, is Pilot Black. It's skipping around a little bit at the moment. But generally speaking, it is a lovely nib to write with. But is this nib idea a bit of a novelty? Well, that is going to be up to you. Personally, I'm not a big soft nib fan, but I have been writing with this on that sort of softer setting, just for that slight bit of bounce on the page. It's a nice writing experience. As I said, it's smooth and it's quite, it's got a good flow. So that little softer writing experience, that bounce on the page, just makes it interesting more than anything. But yes, this is the writing experience with this particular pen. A quick rundown of the dimensions of this particular one. We've got 141 millimeters when it is capped. It's 126 when it is uncapped. It's 153 when it's posted, so it's a pretty decent length. About 10.5 millimeters in the middle of the section there, about 14 around the cap. The pen weighs about 22 grams, 15 in the body and 7 in the cap, so it's got a pretty good balance on it. Let's see it now, just for sake of the exercise, alongside a couple of other common modern Pilot pens. The first I have here is the 823 model, which I enjoy a lot. And then the Custom 74, which is a beautiful, beautiful pen. So you can see it sort of fits in probably close to the 74, maybe just slightly shorter. And it's obviously much shorter there than the 823. Uncapped, it's about the same length as the Custom 74 there. And then posted, it's a little bit shorter than all of those other pens. So what are the differences between this and the new version, the Justus 95? Well, I don't have a Justus 95. I don't even have this pen. This is on loan to me, and a big thank you to my friend who loaned it to me to use at the moment. But basically, the new version has a couple of different styles of patterning on the body you can get. It's also got flat ends. It's a little bit longer, 148 millimeters versus 141, 132 when it's uncapped versus 126. Those kinds of dimensions. This particular vintage one, kind of comes from the 70s, and pens have changed and evolved. I think the newer one has a slightly more modern feel, whereas this one has a bit more of a vintage feel to it for sure. The new version also costs between about 340 and 450 Australian dollars, so it's really not an inexpensive pen. But what are the 3 reasons why I'm really enjoying this pen? First, that nib. It does write well. It's a little skippy at times, a little hard study, particularly after you've been flexing it. The feed doesn't really keep up, but it's nice and smooth on the page. And is that little soft thing a novelty? Well, I think what it does is it gives you the option to have something just a little bit more bouncy on the page. I enjoy it in this pen, just like I enjoy it in the Pilot Falcon. Second thing is I really like the size and balance of this pen. I found myself writing with it unposted a lot, but even posted, it's still a very comfortable pen in the hand. The third thing is I love the vintage shape and lines of the pen, including the actual lines. I like the sort of stubby round end. I like the fact that it's not completely sort of symmetrical or particularly well balanced. It's just got a nice vintagey kind of feel about it, that old style clip, all that kind of stuff. It's a classic pen. This is obviously the vintage version of the modern Justus 95. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this and the modern version. Thank you for watching. I hope you found this video interesting. Please like and subscribe and hit the notifications button, all that kind of stuff. A big thank you to my friend who loaned me this pen and a couple of others to show on my channel. I really appreciate it. I don't have a whole lot of sort of vintage or older pens in my collection, so it's really nice to have a bit of a play with them occasionally. So, thank you for watching, and in the meantime, enjoy your pens, enjoy writing, and I'll talk to you soon.